Okay, so welcome back to part 4 of the Node.js and MongoDB with CRUD application. That means we want to actually go through what we had done in our previous tutorial. Now, so we had actually looked at the requirements that we need, because one, we wanted to just create an application that will do us a CRUD, or that will bring in the true picture of how CRUD works. That is, create, retrieve, update, and delete the CRUD. And we were actually using the Node.js and MongoDB. So Node.js and then MongoDB for the database. So I just want us to start our database. So if you look at this particular icon, starting my database, and this is how our database is going to look like. Remember, this is the desktop version. You can actually download from the official website. That is the MongoDB. And then, of course, we need to have, these are actually the connection string. So I want to connect, and then here we are. So we had created a database called employee DB, or you can have any other database. But make sure whenever you create a database, given the string, you always make sure that you can bring in here. So you have the connection string, that is the URL to your database, and then we have now the database. And in case you try to connect to MongoDB and it's not connecting, then remember there is a service connected to this. So whenever you install the MongoDB database on your desktop, then you will always end up having a service attached to that. So you will always go to services, then you click Mongo, and you'll be able to see MongoDB server. So you probably, if your connection is not okay, then there is you need to go to service, and then you start. So for now, my database is up and running. So we are good, because now we have the database in place. If you click on this database, you can see that we have tasks here. So this task is going to be actually going to be our collection. Remember, there are 3 things we talked about: that we have the database, which of course is on the high level. Then under database, we can have several or multiple collections, which is a collection is equal to a table. And then we have the documents under collections, which is similar to the records, or equal to the rows, or equals to the tuples, in other words. So at this point, I want us to continue, and just to see where we were. So I'll just run new terminal. And remember, our server was being defined here. So we had a lot of file systems to install and the rest. And here we have the 3000, which is actually our port number. So I'll try to run this server once more, so that we can start from where we got the errors. So index.js. And if you look at it, I'll come back, I'll go to my browser. I'll just run 3000 and press enter. Now, if you look at this, we were able to capture some errors here. We were able to capture a lot of errors there. And even here, we still have some errors. So we are talking about the 3000. So there's this error. Yes, the server has been started on port 3000. The database has been connected successfully. But we have this error here, which is the same error as this. So if you look at it, the error states that there's a failed to lookup view index in views directory. Now, look at this. We have these views directories, and we must have a view based on this. If you go to, let me just cancel this. We have this, the home route. This is the home route, and you can see that there is an application which should be renamed as index. It's using the handle bus. So this means that if you go to this particular error, you'll find that we are expected to have an index view under CRUD views. So this means now that I'll come back to views here. Remember, under views, we have layouts, and then we have, under layouts, we have main.handlers. So we did that. But now under views, I want to create a file, new, and then I will call it index.handlebars. Index.handlebars. So with this one, this is actually the home page. It's more like the home page or the index.html file because there was no file to be displayed. So now we need to have some information for this. So here I'll just type h1 and now I need to have this and then we need to have the title. We need to have the title. So this shortcut is more of using the bootstrap part of it. And then under here, I'm going to have like the href. So this one is going to go to task. Now, if you go to this part, we have this part. So we need to have a form. Remember, there should be a form for you to add. So we'll go back here, and then instead of me typing, I'll just paste it. Then from here, I can give them some class. Remember, you can modify, let me give it like btn. It should be a button. So I want this to have the primary color. Although they also have other colors. So we have like MB. Okay, so this one is MB3. Let's say MB3. Yeah. Then here we'll talk of add let's talk of add tasks. Add tasks. Then we'll come down here. We'll have like that. So then I'll do if. So I need to have the tasks the length. So what will be the length of the tasks? Okay, then here now we expect to have the UL. And then under UL, for this one, I'm going to give the class I list. Let me have like list group. And then I'll still have the same thing here. Let me bring it here. Although I'll modify instead of if, then let it be each. So then we are specifying the length. I'll come back to this. Then from here, now you'll find that when you talk about these so when you talk about this part, you'll find that one, I am having the titles. The title should come here. Then I'm having the anchor. Remember, these add tasks should actually go to this form. Like we must have the add form. Then we have this part, if tasks dot length. Now, this means that this is a line that will check whether there is any whether there are any tasks involved, whether there are any tasks involved. And then on the UL part, I'm expecting to have the unordered lists. I'm expecting to have the unordered list. And then we have this one each. Remember, for the for loops or the loops, we normally have the each, which we normally refer to them as the iterative, conditions. So each hashtag each tasks, this means that it will iterate over each task. So it means that once we have this, we should also end up having the closing tag. So this means now that we'll have like that, and then we'll have each. We will have each. And the same scenario is that because we have the if statement, remember this is an if statement. If I remove this first of all, if I'm to complete this, you'll find that I will need to have let's say each, and then is it each or if, then we'll have else. So there's an else coming in, else, and then we go down here, we close with that, with an if. So now I'll come down here and paste what I have here. So if, so remember this one is now the unordered list. So we want to define what should be there on the unordered list. So automatically we know that we should have the listing. Now the first listing we have like the class. I'm going to give a class. And then let me just have this. Let me call it list group item. And then here, probably I need to have like the strong, and then I need to have the title. Remember, this strong is more of a bolding the title. So we can have the title there. But now, if you look at, okay, let's just have the title in the first place. And then from here, now based on what we have here, based on our form, remember we have the first name, the last name, and the gender. So let's go by this. So instead of having the title, let's go to first name. Hope it is written like that. First name. Then from here, so first name, I will come back to this. That is after, I can have like that. We can have the last name. So I'm giving like strong for the first name. Then last name. Then we can have for the gender. Okay. So I'm having first name, last name, and gender. So from this point, I want us to see whether we should be able to connect whatever thing we are doing. Is it making some sense? And then probably I'll come down here. And then I will do the P, and then let's say no tasks found. So I want us to test first of all, because based on our previous error, we were able to capture like index dot, there was an error on index, and I want us to see now. So let's just go to run, new terminal. Here I'll come and talk of node index.js. Now you can see that there's no error so far. Now let's go back to our code here. So I'll just open another one, just type like localhost 3000. Then you can have all this information. So here again, we're experiencing some error. So each doesn't match if 11, 17. Let's talk of. Okay, first of all, let me just do, so we have the first name, we have the last name, we have the gender. When we come to this part, we have the first name, we have the last name, then we have the gender. Okay, let me do this. Let's just have like these two first. First name and last name. Let me bring this part, the first name and the last name. Let's see how it will behave. So let's go run terminal, node index.js. So 3000. Let's go here, press enter. Now, yeah. Oh, okay. Then we also have another error coming up there instead of title. Let's have first name. Okay, let's go now. The last time, new node index dot JS. So 3000. Okay, let's just do this. Localhost 3000. So we are still getting some errors. It's giving us like ESD CRUD. So most of these errors that are getting on Node. Okay, let me check. So last name, now let's go to tasks. Let's go to DB. What are we expected to have it? Then let's go to handlers forms. Now on the handlers, I think I had omitted this. So we have the first name and the last name. Now let's see what is happening. Let's come back to the terminal. Node index.js to see what we have there. Localhost is the database up and running. Okay. So we have an issue on the handlers. Let's go back. So we have so add.handlebars. Then we have index.handlebars. So let me correct it one more time. So first name, index. So just open this. Okay, we have this last name. Let me save. Let me go terminal, new terminal, index.js, running 3000. Close the center, we still have the same error. Now, for simplicity, let me just change a little bit. So let's talk of a book. Okay, let me remove this for the gender. For the handlers, let's just use some few lines. So here we have the last name, we have the last name, we have the first name, we have the first name. Now it's using this task. If you go to this part, we have task add. Then let's follow if tasks dot length. Then I have this list group, each tasks. Then I have, let me just comment this section first. Let's go to run terminal, node index.js. MongoDB started. I want to see a different error. So we are not getting any different error. Index localhost 3000. So there's a problem on the node. Okay, let's see first of all the other new node index.js for 3000. Okay, everything disappears. So when I bring this on board, that is when we're getting these errors. So let me get a close look. So we have the first one, which is more of the header, first name, the task. These are our button add tasks, which is okay. Then we have the hash if. This is the if statement starting there. Then there'll be an else statement. Then we have okay, so instead of, because we have, this is the if statement to start with, this is the closing statement. Then this is the each statement. So the closing should have this bracket there. Okay, so let's go back, terminal run, node index.js. Yeah, perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So there was actually an error. There was actually an error, and the error was actually on a spelling part, because it's very case sensitive. You see, when you're starting an if statement, should like hash if, and to end you must use the forward slash. So I started the if with an hash, and then I should have ended with a forward slash. So I had initially or previously I was having the same hash. So this time round, you'll find that there's that particular button. And now, if you look at, if you go to the page here and click add tasks, you see now it's giving you this form. You click add tasks, it gives you this form. So through this form, you can, of course, apply the bootstrap styling, but it's telling you add tasks, no tasks found. So there are no tasks found. Why? Because we've not actually had it. So let's see. Here we are expected to have the first name and the last name. So if I have, for example, Barack, and then I have Obama, and then click submit, let's see what happens. Now it's telling us this site can't be reached. But of course, we expect some data to go to this particular database here. Yes. Good job. Yeah, so we expect to have this information here. So if I go to the tasks, nothing is being displayed. But let us see whether we can have some information. Let's see whether we can have some tasks displayed on this part. If I had it directly from the database. So this is actually the database. If I click add task, there's two options. Either you are importing JSON or CSV file, or you're inserting the document. If I click insert document, this is how to do it. This is how to insert. So if I click on insert, so it's going to give us these options here. And let's see. So if I come here and load, let's see what has been inserted. So far, nothing is being displayed. If I go to local 3000, let's see our server. So let me just delete this. Let us come back. Probably our server is down. Yeah, so I'll just again start run terminal, new node index.js. So let's confirm our server whether it's still up and running. So add tasks. Now you are given this, add tasks like that. Now from this point, I want to add some few lines on this index.handlebar so that we can go back to the index.js. So I'll just put another anchor. And this anchor is going to give me, let's say task. Remember here we have task card. We have task card here. So it means now that here we will have task had instead of had, probably we'll have like edit. Edit, or you can have something like update. So from this point, what are we updating? Remember, it will be based on the ID. When updating, you make sure that you base it under the ID. So I'll just give like underscore ID. That is the column name to be captured. And it's going to be part and parcel of this. So let me just cut here and then bring it here, / like that. So I'll just close this. So from this, we can give a class. So we can even copy this class, copy it here, and then we give it like that. So we have BTN. Let me change this. Instead of primary, let me give it like secondary. Let's say BTN in small. Let's say float. Right. And then this one, we can call it update. So the same thing, I'm going to bring it down here. Remember about the CRUD. So instead of update, I will have like delete. Then the same ID. And then what I'm going to change here is only, instead of secondary, I can give it like danger. Then here, I can change it to delete. So just to give some space, I can give some space as step 2. Okay, so let me go back, terminal, new terminal, NODEindex.js. Okay, let's go back here, press enter, and see, because we should capture Chrome. So I'll have localhost like that. Now, if you look at it, it's not visible. Maybe stop it. Okay, so now what we need to do, we will go back to the index. We'll go back to the index, and then we will add some few lines. This time round, we want to make sure that we're able to cater for the update and the delete, the update and the delete. So each one must have the form itself, and of course, how do you the editor, the form, just the same way we have here, the add task form, the process form submitted. So we should have the form, and then we should have an option for adding. So here it means now that I will just come and talk of edit, let's say task form. So from here, I will repeat the same thing here, paste it there. Remember, there we called it update. So task update, if you go to the index handlebars, we had this task update, task delete. So we'll come back there, / and then we'll do the ID. Based on this, I think, let me just get rid of this other information so that we can have it right. So you'll find that now, buffer / task, / task, / update, / full : ID. Then you close. Then we have to do what you call the async. That means we'll check this asynchronous, and then both the request and the response. From there, I'm going to give the redirection, then do like that and press enter. We'll create a constant call task. And then await, this will await the task dot find by ID. Request dot parameters, so it will check for the params, which parameters to be exactly is the ID. Then it should be like .len and then into bracket like that. Then about the response, we just come res.render into bracket. I will have updates and then do like that. Then we should have the task. Then I'll do like that. I will do like that. So this is the form. Now from here, we will have the submission. So I can call it process form submitted. So it's somehow similar to this, but we'll borrow some different features. So just come up.post, because now we are posting into brackets. So I'll have the same thing here, synchronous up to there. And let me just have like that. Then we'll do like that. Then I'll have const ID equals to request params. Then come to await task dot find. So we want to find by ID and update. Find by ID and update. And then we are doing the update. Then we have the ID, that is what exactly. And then dot body request dot body. Then the last thing is we have to get the response. So this response should be redirected. And then it should be redirected to that. Okay, the thing is okay here. Okay, let's do the testing now. So terminal, new terminal, then do node index.js. So let's go back there and reload. Then click our tasks. Let's see. So we should actually get some of these. So localhost 3000. So no tasks. No tasks. If I click add tasks, let's talk of Barack Obama. Click submit. So this site can be read localhost reviews to connect. Okay, let's look at the connection error. So there's an error coming from, let's read between. Task validation failed. The path title is required. Path description is required. So which are we talking about? Let's start from this area. So mongoose new validation. Task for the full description, path description is required. Okay, let's go to the database. Let's go to the tasks. Oh, okay. So let's go up here. Let's have like first name. Let's go to last name. So this time round, let's go to file, new terminal, node index.js. Let's go like that. Have Barack, have Obama. So again, we're experiencing another error. So the error is based on the database. So we have the new validation error. So task validation field first name. is required. Okay, let's go to the tasks. So type of the string required, last name, the string required, completed, task completed. So if I go to the layout main, okay, let's change this one to first name. To this part. Okay, so let's just try one more time. Node index.js. So if I go to this part, localhost 3000 add tasks, this time around Barack, this time around Obama, click submit. You should actually land to the database. So let's again look at the error. So let's say debug console output problems. So there are no problems, but on the terminal, I think we are getting some errors here. So we have the path first name, so which is undefined, but undefined, undefined and defined. So let's start from the database and see what is happening. Mm-hmm. And then first name. So we have task add. Let's go to the form on index. So here we talk about the first name, we talk about the last name. Okay. So again, let me go new. Node index.js. Let's have a look at the database. So we should actually have the data going to the database. First name path is required. So so far, if you look at it, based on what we have here, we've achieved the display just to create the index handler, and we are now able to display content, especially in the browsers. If you look at the add to tasks, at least you're able to see the button. You can click it. You can also get these inputs. So this is actually going to be part 4, but I think to finalize on it, we're going now to get part 5 or 6 so that we can end up with this particular tutorial. So I'll see you in the next tutorial. Just going through I mean, just to cite out the problem and see how we can fix it. So thank you and see you in the next tutorial.